I was sitting at my grandmother's 80th birthday dinner when my cousin Derek stood up and started telling a story about the time I supposedly failed my driving test 5 times in a row. It was a complete lie. A total fabrication intended to make me look like the family idiot in front of a dozen relatives I hadn't seen in years. I watched him act out my supposed panic behind the wheel, his face twisted into a mocking expression while the rest of the table erupted in laughter. I felt a sharp, hot sting of embarrassment in my chest because Derek knew the real reason I hadn't been driving back then was a serious medical issue I had asked him to keep quiet. Derek has always been the golden boy of the family, the one who played varsity sports and got the best grades, and he seemed to enjoy maintaining that status by dragging everyone else down. He knew that I had been struggling with a series of inner ear infections that made me dizzy for months, which was why I had delayed my license. But he decided that a joke about my incompetence was a better story for the group. I looked around the table at my aunts and uncles, seeing them wipe tears of laughter from their eyes, and I realized that my dignity was being sacrificed for a few minutes of cheap entertainment. It was a betrayal of a secret I had shared in confidence, and it made the fancy dinner feel like a middle school cafeteria. "You're a great actor, Derek, but we both know that story is a lie," I said, trying to keep my voice from shaking as the laughter started to die down. He just winked at the table and told everyone that I was just being sensitive because the truth was a little bit embarrassing. He even had the nerve to say that he was just trying to lighten the mood and that I should learn to laugh at myself. I felt a surge of adrenaline that made my fingers clench under the table, and I realized that if I didn't stop him now, he would spend the rest of our lives using my personal struggles as punchlines. I stood up and set my napkin down on the plate, looking him right in the eye until he stopped smiling. "I'm happy to laugh at myself, but I'm not going to laugh at you lying about my health just to get a reaction from the family," I told him. The table went dead silent as I explained to everyone the actual reason I hadn't been driving that year, and how Derek had promised to keep it between us. I watched his face go from smug to incredibly uncomfortable as the relatives shifted in their seats, the humor of the moment replaced by a thick, awkward tension. My grandmother reached over and took my hand, looking at Derek with a frown that I knew he would feel for the rest of the night. It wasn't about the driving test anymore. It was about the fact that he was a person who couldn't be trusted with the truth. Derek tried to backtrack, saying it was just a joke and that he didn't mean any harm, but the damage was already done. The rest of the dinner was quiet, and he didn't say another word to me for the rest of the night. I realized that my desire to keep the peace had allowed him to walk all over me for years, and by standing up for myself, I had finally shifted the balance of power in our relationship. I didn't feel happy about making the dinner awkward, but I felt a profound sense of relief that I didn't have to carry his lies around anymore just to make him look good. I haven't been to a family event with Derek in over a year, and I don't miss the constant anxiety of wondering what he's going to say next. My aunts and uncles have been much more supportive since they found out the truth, and I've even started driving again now that my health is back on track. I learned that some people only feel big when they're making you feel small, and the best way to deal with them is to take away their audience. I still value